Alright guys, welcome to the third installment, and I'm actually recording these back to back to back. It's rolling through my day pretty quickly actually, but I'm rolling right straight into the third installment of how to drive on dirt, and this time it's going to be the Big Block Modified. Now pretty much everything I'm going to show you is almost identical to what you just saw in the UMP Modified. Now, the reason being is because this car here, when iRacing brought the Big Block Modified out, they introduced a brand new physics model, a new tire model, to the dirt side of iRacing. And I think it's the best physics model and the best tire model that iRacing has come up with to date. Today being the 19th of March, 2021. It is the best physics model, best tire model that iRacing has brought to the dirt side to date. It feels way more realistic to what the car really should feel like and how the car really should drive around the track. And with all that being said, this car here and the UMP Modified are pretty much identical. And mind you, the 358, I'm not going to go over the 358 with you unless it becomes a requested video, but the 358 is the same as the Big Block Modified, just with less power. So we're going to go around the track with the Big Block Modified and show you that it's basically the same thing that you're going to be doing, or that you were doing in the UMP Modified, which was the last video that we put out. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to hop on the track. Now, yes, I am running the iRacing Charlotte Dirt baseline given to you, or provided to you by iRacing. We're going to go ahead and roll out onto the track here. Now you notice even the seating in this car is different. You're sitting in the center versus the left or the right. I don't know of any dirt car that you sit to the right, but a lot of the all the cars that we've covered so far, it's just being late models and modified, you sit towards the left of this car, and other cars to come, you're going to sit directly in the center. I'm going to roll around the track at pace speed right here at 40 miles an hour. And now, yes, this car paces horribly. It likes to jerk back and forth, it rocks, it's not a comfortable pacing car whatsoever. As you come out of turn number 4, give them the throttle. Down the front straightaway, you're going to roll out of the throttle, just like you would the UMP Modified. Come back up to the track, you're going to go back out of the throttle, down the track, back up. One thing I have noticed, these cars don't really like the bottom of the track, so I want to keep it up just a little bit higher than what I did the UMP Modified. And you'll notice I've got very little wheel input compared to what I did, say, in the late model, and I think maybe even in the UMP Modified. These cars rotate themselves a lot more than what the UMP Modified did. But, however, there again, just like in the UMP Modified, no throttle and brake a lot of times will cause the car to push. Not so much here as what it does with other tracks, short tracks especially, which, as I said in the last video, we will be covering the short tracks and how to drive the short tracks in later videos. But keeping all of this in mind, keeping how all of this works in mind, you're going to be looking and working hard on maintaining your throttle and controlling your throttle with these cars here and not punching the throttle. Just like the UMP Modified, you're going to want to roll into the throttle down the straightaway, and you're going to want to kind of maintain the throttle at a certain point, which for me seems to be at about a quarter to half throttle around the turns, no matter the track condition. So you're going to roll in, and around the turns you're going to go about a quarter to half throttle, maintain a flat car, roll back into the throttle, half to 3/4 throttle around the turn, roll in, half to 3/4 around the turn, roll in, half to 3/4, and then roll back in. Now, if your car wants to push, if it doesn't want to rotate, there's a lot of people out there that are going to try to hit the brake, because that's a habit. Now you go into the corner. With these cars here, you'll notice more throttle, it wants to over-rotate, as you just saw. Yes, I did that on purpose. I just wanted to show you the car likes to over-rotate. This car does it a lot. Which is why you want to go in.
28.8.
You notice as I'm still turning left. As I took my foot off the throttle, the car stopped rotating. Off the throttle, car's not wanting to rotate. Give it more throttle, and it rotates. If I go into the turn, and I hit the brake, yes, the car rotates, but it slides out of rotate. You're going to be faster, you're going to be better off if you rotate the car with the throttle versus the brake. So if I come completely off the throttle, I'm turned hard left and the car's not wanting to rotate. It scrubs a lot of speed off. So with this car here, you keep the car on a slight rotation, a little bit of counter steer. Shouldn't have very much counter steer, but a little bit of counter steer, just to maintain that slight, very, very slight slide with these cars, and maintain a steady pace. Now you notice right there, I gave it more throttle than what I had been giving it, and by giving it more throttle than what I had been giving it, I lost speed, I lost time. Back down to about half throttle around that turn, and I actually turned the fastest lap of the session. So there's a lot going on with these cars that are just like the UMP Modifieds. UMP Modifieds, you saw me turn a half a second slower. Can you, there again, I've asked this every single time, can you turn a full throttle lap Big Block Modified? Yes, you can. It can be done. I will show you here, but I will also show you how much slower it is. Alright, so now we're up speed, we're taking the flag.
8.224.
It's so much harder to maintain control of the car. You'll notice I cannot maintain a line. I'm over a half a second there again, slow. It's just, and I was over-rotated pretty much the whole time, which is what made it so hard to maintain a line. The car wanted to slide up the track, kind of wanted to shoot down out of the corners a little bit, depending on how I entered. It's a lot like the UMP Modified, which I covered in the last video. The link will be in the description for that. So it's just, there's a different way to go about how to drive almost every single car here on the sim, which I'm going to cover it. Am I the best out there at any of these cars? No, not by any means. Not by any means. But my goal here is to help drivers, to help people out, to help new people coming into iRacing. The link is in the description to my Facebook page. If you want some help, if you want some personal one-on-one lessons, feel free to message the Facebook page for Team Outlaw Motorsports and get involved in Outlaw Boss School of Dirt. The link will be in the description to my Team Outlaw Motorsports Facebook page. If you want the one-on-one lessons, feel free to message the page and we'll get you hooked up with how to drive the cars, with how to get enrolled in the school, and we'll work with you. So with all of that being said, I hope that this short, simple video is of help to you, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.